Some places make you feel like you stepped into a painting. Provence. Provence makes you feel like you stepped into an entire art gallery. Today we're visiting two of the finest exhibitions. Roussillon, the town that looks like Venice and France had a charming little love child, and Roussillon, the village that decided that if we're going to be a hilltop town, you might as well do it in every possible shade of red and orange. These two places have nothing in common except for one thing: they're almost annoyingly picturesque. L'Île-sur-la-Sorche is water, antiques, and lazy riverside cafes. Excuse me, by the way, if I pronounce it terrible as hell. However, I did ask a Parisian once to say the name, and even he couldn't do it, so yeah, French language, huh? It is, however, a town where the only thing stronger than the scent of fresh baguette is the overwhelming temptation to buy a 200-year-old chandelier for no reason whatsoever. It's a town built on water, crisscrossed by canals, shadowed by willow trees, and filled with cafes where people seem to be doing absolutely nothing, except for drinking rosé and staring at the reflection in the river like they're waiting for Monet to just show up and paint them. This is the undisputed antique capital of Provence. There are more than 300 antique shops here, which means that for every person sitting at the cafe drinking pastis, there's probably another one trying to negotiate the price of a 19th century chandelier. Do you need an antique gold-framed mirror that weighs more than your car? Probably not. Will you consider buying one anyway? Well, absolutely. Because that's what this town does to you. It seduces you, kind of. You start the day planning to just have a quiet coffee by the water, and by sunset you're somehow shipping home a set of vintage Louis XVI dining chairs, even though you live in a studio apartment in Sweden. If you're lucky enough to be here on a Sunday, congratulations, you just stepped into one of the best markets in Provence. It's not just an antiques market, it's a food market, a flower market, and a wait, why do I suddenly want to buy handmade soap kind of market. You walk past the fresh cheeses, baskets of lavender, trays of golden brown pastries, and suddenly you realize that your entire understanding of what food is supposed to taste like has been completely wrong the whole time. You could spend hours wandering between stalls, sipping pastis, listening to old Frenchmen arguing about literally anything, and questioning whether you ever need to go home after this trip. The only proper way to end the day in L'Île-sur-la-Sorche is by doing absolutely nothing. Just find a cafe by the water, order a glass of rosé, stare at the river, contemplating life. Wonder if you should just sell everything and open an antique shop here, because what L'Île-sur-la-Sorche needs more is probably just another antique shop. Because if there's one thing this town is good at, it's making you fall in love with a version of life you didn't even know you wanted. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. What is a journey? Is it a memory or perhaps the seed of the next adventure? At Ponyo and Poolshark, we craft travel guides designed to lead you to hidden gems, and we share captivating vlogs that invite you to wander the globe with us. From serene train rides and enchanting cruises to cozy hotels, charming bars and delightful restaurants. Embark on a voyage with us where every step carries a touch of beauty and a hint of bittersweet farewell. Subscribe now and let your heart be guided to where our next journey unfolds. Roussillon is earth, color and cliffs that look like they belong on Mars. A town where even the houses seem embarrassed by how photogenic they actually are. Blending into the Ochre landscape like they were painted by a slightly tipsy Van Gogh. This is not a normal village. This is a village that looks like someone took every possible shade of red, orange and ochre, smashed them together and then built an entire town out of it. Perched on a hilltop like a perfectly colored coordinated fever dream, Roussillon is one of the most unique places in France, maybe even in Europe. The entire town is made out of ochre, a natural pigment that stains everything in its shade of burnt sienna, deep terracotta and warm gold, making it look less like a real place and more like a surreal film set where every single building is weirdly photogenic. As if the village itself wasn't dramatic enough, just outside the town lies the Sentier des Ochres, a walking trail through the kind of landscape that makes you wonder if you somehow teleported to Arizona or maybe Mars or some alternate dimension where everything is just made out of rust-colored magic. The cliffs here glow. The sand is bright orange, the rocks looks like they've been hand painted by some artist who just absolutely had no chill when it came to the color palettes. Walking through this place at golden hour is borderline dangerous, because once you see it, you'll never be able to look at the normal landscape the same way again. Roussillon is not a town for itineraries. There's no must-see museum, no famous cathedrals, just a maze of impossibly scenic streets that demand you to slow down and just get lost in them. You don't plan a visit to Roussillon, you let Roussillon happen to you. You stroll through the tiny alleyways where the walls change colors with the light. You stop for a coffee, or let's be honest, a glass of wine probably, at a cafe overlooking the Luberon Valley, pretending that you actually understand how to pronounce Luberon correctly. Well, I have no idea. You wonder why everything tastes better here, even though all you ordered was a simple baguette and some cheese. And eventually, you stop caring about any of it, because you've been hypnotized by the colors, the light, and the feeling that you somehow stepped into the world where everything is just right. So, there you have it, a town where water whispers through the streets and another where the earth burns red beneath your feet. Two places that couldn't be more different, yet somehow belong together in the same dream. But Provence isn't done with us yet. Next we'll be heading to Gordes and Fontaine de Vaucluse. One, a hilltop masterpiece so beautiful it almost doesn't feel real. The other, a village built around a mystery, where water emerges from the depths of the earth in a way science still can't fully explain. Two more reasons to fall for Provence, two more places you won't forget. So see next part. In the end, however, always remember, it is not about the destination. It is what you make of it that counts. Till next time, stay safe.
Yeah.